And we will, I will take questions at the end, but if anyone wants to ask anything or has any comments during the presentation, you can feel free to jump in. All right, so the reason why we want to think about sneaking therapeutic activities into your day is because there just isn't enough time in your day. Whether or not you're a working parent or you're a stay-at-home parent, it doesn't matter. You probably feel like everything is on your to-do list and you can barely keep calm because there's so much to do in the day, and you just feel like you're running against the clock. But if you also have a child who has special needs, who has speech and language delays or autism spectrum disorders or any special need, you're also being told other things to add into your day. Talk to your child, read to your child, play with your child. Oh, but by the way, limit screen time and structure your day so that you have predictable routines. And don't forget to try to be positive throughout your day, which is great. But then, you also have to do all of this all day long and every day. So how can you fit in all of these things that people are recommending when really you have to do all of these things throughout your day and somehow manage to keep your house clean, cook healthy dinners, do the laundry? And that's what we're going to be trying to figure out today, is how to look for untapped potential throughout your day and get more bang for your buck during the things that you're already doing. Now, I know well-meaning speech pathologists like myself work with families to try to help you figure out how you can fit in therapeutic activities throughout your day. And I know people are often thinking about this whenever I'm telling them, these types of things. So how can we make it less stressful and more of a positive experience for you and your child to fit in therapeutic activities throughout your day? One thing that I like to think about is, what are your gotta get it done tasks in your day? These tasks here are things that are on probably most people's gotta get it done tasks for the day. And each individual person's going to have extra things on here, but waking up, getting dressed, eating breakfast, cleaning up, brushing teeth, all of these things every day, this is what you gotta get done. So how do you then fit in all of those extra things that you're being asked to do with your child? Well, really, this is it. This is your untapped potential. We have to figure out how to make all of these things into activities where you can target developmental skills in your child. And the way to untap that potential is really thinking about each of those activities and thinking about, okay, what do I want my child to do? What do I want him to say? What do I want him to understand, or what directions do I want him to follow? And these are the things that help you to create these expectations and untap the potential during these activities. When you're thinking about, what do I want my child to say, what do I want them to do, what do I want them to understand, what this is you being mindful. You being mindful that in this activity, it's not just a gotta get it done task. I'm not just pushing through it because I have to get it done. I'm not gonna do things to my child or for my child. I'm going to think about what actually is something I want them to learn in that activity. That's the being mindful. Being deliberate means that when you're in these activities, you're deliberately trying to address whatever you've chosen to be the thing that you're going to work on. If you are being deliberate about it, then your child can pick out those things a little bit easier. If in my mind I'm thinking, all right, I want to target this word, and if I'm deliberately targeting it, my child can pick up on that a lot more easily. Going back to that one picture of all the things you have to do during your day, a lot of these things we're just trying to get through. But one thing is, if we can slow down a little bit and take our time in those activities, and we can target goals with our children within those activities, then we don't have to figure out how to create all these extra hours in the day. We don't have to create the extra hours in the day by picking out these activities we're already doing, slowing down, being deliberate and being mindful. Then we don't have to create extra time. And with every activity that we're doing, if we're mindful, if we're deliberate, if we're taking our time, then what we can really do is create these nice, predictable routines where the children know exactly, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? And they will more likely be able to engage in those routines and take their turn. All right, I was having some video clip difficulties, so we'll see. Some of my videos I was having problems with and they lost sound. Some of my videos were upside down and couldn't be flipped. So I'm gonna try to work through these videos, but I know these first two videos lost their sound, so I'm gonna walk you through the videos. And if your mother or mother-in-law is babysitting, she could do the plan. If your husband does breakfast and you do dinner, you both could do the same plan. The babysitter could do it because you have it written out at home. So if you are the professional, then you could help the family build this plan. But if you're the mom or the dad or the babysitter, the caregiver, you're carrying this over. And like I said, it takes a little more time. We went from 18 seconds to 50 seconds or whatever it was, a little bit more time. But when you think about your overall day, you targeted expressive language and receptive language in an extra 30 seconds. You didn't have to sit down and do a whole extra activity, get your child to try to cooperate in something extra. It was something that they were already doing that day. So we have another video clip. This one hopefully has sound, but same thing, a mealtime cleanup. It just looks a little bit different because this time I wanted to work on some gestures. That's on my child's treatment plan, to work on gestures. Well, we could do that during mealtime cleanup. And we want to work on body parts. We can definitely do that in mealtime cleanup. And you can watch that in this video. Breakfast is all done. Let's sing our song. Natalie is all done, all done, all done. Natalie is all done. It's time to wash our hands. Time to wash our hands and mouth. Time to wash our hands and mouth. Oh, 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 oh. Natalie is all done. All right, let me get the cloth and wipe your hands. And they can work on things in these little periods that we usually rush through and do it to or for our children. Now, every little thing that you do could have a multitude of opportunities. But the thing is, what I don't want you as a parent to do is try to overload too much, because then it might get a little overwhelming for you. As the professional, you might help the family create a plan like this, but then let's figure out what we're going to do first. Because if there's too much on it, it's easier to not do any of it. So it's easier to just make it easy for yourself. Make one change. Let's just target one thing today, and then we can build from there. This is more examples from that sheet in the back that I gave you that's blank. These are just more examples to think about throughout your day this is going to be a morning routine, and if I start with things I want my child to do, if I go back to the idea of targeting gestures, maybe my child doesn't communicate verbally, but I want to work on nonverbal communication. How can I do that during their day? Then maybe first thing in the morning when they wake up, I can already be targeting some of these goals. So I walk into my child's bedroom in the morning. What do I want them to do? What do I want them to say? I need to structure that setting to teach my child what they can do. If I want to work on gestures, well, I can work on waving and reaching. First thing in the morning when I walk into the room, I can wave to them and say hi. If that's what I do every single morning when I walk into their room, they start to realize this is the routine. Every morning when mom or dad walks in, they wave to me. If one morning you walk in and you wait and you don't wave, they might wave because they realize that's what comes next in the routine. Maybe you'll have to help them move their hand to help teach the skill, but it's something that just the act of doing it every day makes it a routine. If you think about what you do every day, I mean, there are things that are part of your routine every day that you just know. Where your keys are, where your watch is, where your purse is. So you can just grab all the stuff and go. You don't even think about it. It's all just second nature for you in the morning. Well, what does your child know about their morning routine? What's second nature for them? How can they know what to do and what is their turn by the way you've set up the routine? Maybe we want your child to lift their arms to be picked up. Well, if they're still in a crib, that's a place to work on it by holding your arms up and saying one up and just waiting to see if they will reach their arms up to ask to be picked up. Maybe you want to work on following these one-step commands and you think my child has a hard time listening, or my child has a hard time understanding when I tell him to do something. Well, there's lots of things you might want them to do in those first 5 minutes of their day. Maybe they are still wearing a diaper overnight, and so there are things with diaper changing that can definitely be a way to sneak in the therapy activity. Maybe you just want them to lay down on the floor or the changing table or the bed, wherever you change the diaper. Maybe just following the direction, lay down, help them lay down. After a while, they're gonna know, oh, this is when I'm supposed to lay down. They'll just do it because it's part of the routine. Maybe at the end, you want them to throw away the diaper in the trash can or the diaper pail, and so them following that command to do it. These are things you might do to them or for them. So you might already just lay your child down because that's what you need to do to change the diaper. The diaper change is over, you mindlessly just throw it in the trash because that's where it goes, and then you start to do the next thing. But these little tiny details are the ones that can make the most impact on your child, and it's the things you have to do anyway. So by adding an extra few seconds, and you think this is where I'm going to target the skills, then this is not a whole extra activity working on one-step commands. It's part of what you're already doing. Maybe you want to identify body parts. Maybe you want them to identify their clothing items. They're at maybe the point where you have been trying to maybe do these things, but if you're doing it as part of an activity you're already in, it doesn't feel so much like work to you because you're not doing it extra. You're doing it as part of what you're already doing. I always like to start with just one. So if you want to start with one body part during diaper change, I like to talk about the belly button because it's exposed, it's there. So after the clean diaper is on, where's your belly? And you tickle the belly. Or maybe you give a little zerbert on their belly. Where's your belly? You do it, maybe you do it a third time. And then the diaper change is over. And that's it. But the where's your belly part is now part of diaper changing. Eventually, you're gonna say, where's your belly? And they might look at their belly, they might touch their belly, they might know exactly that you're going to lean down and give them a zerbert. And then you know, okay, they've got belly button. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm gonna do foot next. Where's your foot? And I'm gonna give them the zerbert on their foot. So when you then start adding the body parts, it's that you've got this as part of something you're already doing, you're just sneaking it in. Same with the clothing items. They wear a shirt every single day. They wear pants every single day, socks, shoes. These are things they wear all the time. But do they know what a shirt is? Do they know that the word shirt goes with this thing that they put on every single day? If we're thinking about, oh, we gotta, get ready and go, I'm running late, we gotta get you to daycare or school, sometimes that could be what is a missed opportunity, because getting dressed is a gotta get it done task. But if you think, I want my child to know the word shirt, then every day when we put on shirt, we're gonna focus deliberately on the word shirt. Then eventually, maybe you leave the shirt for last and you get it dressed with everything else, and then you say, where's your shirt? They might grab it and give it to you because they know what their shirt is, because every day you've been targeting that this thing that you pull over their head is called a shirt. During morning routine, you can also work on what you'd want your child to say. As part of your routine, you just think, whatever words I say, those are the words that my child is learning to say. If they don't hear me say it, it's hard to learn it during that activity. But if I'm very mindful of what I want them to learn, very deliberate as to how I say the word, they're going to pick up on it more. So if I want my child to say mama or dada, and I haven't heard it yet, then we have to deliberately work on it. And how are we going to do that? Every morning I'm going to open their door and I'm going to walk in their room and say, mama. So that's the first word they hear. I'm the thing that they see. That's the word that they hear. Because then someday I want to open up that door and I want to walk in and I'm going to wait. And I want to hear them say, mama, because that, they know, is the word that comes next in our little morning routine. So that would be like the thing that I want to work on. I already talked about waving, so maybe we want to say hi or good morning. Maybe that's on our list. It does not matter as long as we are mindful of what exactly we're targeting, and then very deliberately, it is the way I do it. It is the way we do our routine. There are things that your children just kind of learn through osmosis during the day. But if you know in your mind, I'm targeting this right now, they're just going to pick up on it quicker and faster. So there are many words during that routine that you can think in your mind, these are the words I want my child to say, and I'm going to say it in the same way every day so that they realize that's the word I'm supposed to say. And really, what this gets at, the heart of really what we're talking about today, is that we're trying to engage your children in these meaningful activities and not try to distract them and just kind of get through it, which we all do. We all are trying to, get through our day and try to get everything done. But if you choose some certain things during your day and you think this activity, we're really going to go for it, I'm really going to engage my child in this, that's where the learning can take place. Some things you do have to distract them through, like if they hate to brush their teeth and they just hate it and it's a fight every day, then maybe they can watch the video of the brush your teeth video on your phone while you're quickly brushing their teeth to distract them, because you do have to get their mouth clean. But there are disadvantages to the distracting. It's that their mind is just disconnected from the activity, and what you're doing and saying and showing them, they're just totally tuning it out to whatever they're focusing on. So there's a time to distract, but there's time to really think about engagement. Keeping it consistent helps with that. If they know exactly what's going to happen, they're going to be able to engage a lot better. For us, we might think, oh, that's boring, or maybe we just don't want to do it the same way every time. We don't want them to get too repetitive or stuck. But these things that I'm talking about today are things that I do in the same way every time. When I wash my hands, I don't think, how am I gonna make it a little more different this time? How can I spice it up a little bit? I don't. I wash my hands the same way each time. Doing the laundry, getting dressed, I basically do it the same way each time. So for our kids, they benefit from that too. This consistency, keeping things pretty much the same will make it a lot easier. Now within these routines, we'll talk about expanding and creating variety in a few different slides, but for the most part, these activities are the same a lot of the time. And one thing that you saw in the video examples were really matching your language to the experience. I wish I had the audio for the first video where there isn't really a lot of language being matched. The cup gets picked up and put to the side, but there were no words said. The bowl gets moved out of the way. The bib gets pulled off, and as the bib was getting pulled off, I think the language was, we gotta hurry up, so the language just didn't match the experience. Therefore, it's not a learning opportunity for the child. They'll learn language as the language is matching the experience. And so if anything, if any change was to be made in any of our routines, just switching it up so our language matches exactly what the child is doing or saying, that makes it more of an engaging activity for the child. During these activities, one thing we want to also do when we think about matching our language to experience, we also want to reduce questions. And that is, unless questions is what you're deliberately and mindfully targeting, we want to reduce the questions. Because one thing that helps a child learn better is being able to soak in the information as opposed to just kind of consistently being asked for that information. We do want to ask questions, and we do want children to answer questions, but too many questions is one thing that can kind of hinder a child's ability to engage in some of these activities. And I have a little video clip of that I will show. I think this one works.
Are you closing the hamper?
Oh, that wasn't the right one. Oh no. Let me see.
Are you closing?
Let me try this one.
What's this? What's this? What is it? You do it.
Child might want to work on that can still be snuck into these little pieces of time throughout your day that are usually overlooked. Simple math is something that can be done while your child's cooking lunch. Put 3 chicken nuggets on the plate. Oh, I gotta pick out the 3 chicken nuggets. Okay, how many chicken nuggets do you have? Oh, you have 4. Let's take away 1. Now how many do you have? There's your 3. Put them in the microwave. All right, put 60 seconds. 60. What numbers make up 60? I have to think about it and put the 60 on there. Well, I want some chicken nuggets too. I want 3 chicken nuggets and you want 2 chicken nuggets. So put those on the plate. Now count how many we have. So all of this simple math can be snuck into a time that usually maybe our child's watching, a video on the iPad, and I'm quickly making their dinner, and it's a disconnect and their food just appears for them. It's easier that way. It's a lot easier that way. But if we're figuring out in our busy day, how can I work on some meaningful activities? This, to me, seems more meaningful than maybe that worksheet that came home to work on their math. Now your addition and subtraction is actually real life, and it does take a little bit longer, but it's where you could sneak in these skills in the same way that maybe we snuck in those easier skills with the kids in the videos. This is also a time that you can start forgetting the needed things because you've established these routines. I always walk in and this is the way it is. Well, I walk in this time and it's not the way it is. This is a time to start working on communication and not maybe getting upset because the thing that I usually have is not there. Now we can work on asking for it. So I normally walk into the kitchen in the morning and my oatmeal is already on the table, and I walk in today and the oatmeal is not there. What are they going to say? Where's my oatmeal? But if the oatmeal is always there, there's no opportunity for them to ask where their oatmeal is. So once you've established these routines, you can start sneaking in opportunities for communication by omitting or forgetting the things that they need. Forgetting utensils or their favorite cup or anything that would spur a question would be good at mealtime. I gave you examples of working on one-step directions, but you can totally work on two-step directions during this time. Put your cup in the sink and then throw your napkin in the trash. And they're good at that. And then you're like, okay, before you throw your napkin in the trash, put your cup in the sink. So you're starting to work on whatever it is that the goals are, say in speech therapy or in school, that you're told, okay, they're working on two-step commands, please do that at home. And you're like, how do I do that at home? This is how you can do it at home. Very simple, not an extra activity where you're giving your child two-step commands to follow related to, something unrelated. This is specifically related to what you're already doing. Or WH questions. Where does your cup go? In the sink. Where we have to put the ice cream back. Where does the ice cream go? In the freezer. Where do we throw away your napkin? In the trash. Or even who questions. Maybe your child's job every night at dinner is to give everyone a napkin. So maybe there's 4 in your family and you have 3 napkins. Give it the 3 napkins. Uh-oh, who does not have a napkin? They have to, Daddy. Okay, where are we going to find the napkins? And they got to go find it. So this only takes a few extra seconds, but this is where the mindfulness and the deliberateness needs to come in, because in the moment you're not thinking about it. In the moment you're thinking, everyone needs a napkin and I got to cook dinner. So it takes a little bit of planning and a little bit of that mindfulness to even think about what you're going to work on. And if you are the clinician, these are the things to help the family with. If you're the family member, it's something that maybe together as a family you can think about it, or you can talk about it with your child's speech pathologist or teacher. What do they need to work on? So other untapped activities. The main thing for you to do, and we've talked about this, is what do you do to or for your child when they're usually unengaged and they're letting you do it to and for them? What are those things? That's the untapped potential. That is where you want to sneak it in first, because you're already doing it and your child's there anyway. So that's your untapped potential. So do you often get the items that they need for a task already? Clean up later, after they've left or gone to bed. Maybe you put the toys in the bathtub, or throw their clothes in the hamper, or put their laundry away, or already have the food prepared. Any gotta get it done task that you rush through, maybe that's where your untapped potential is. And it's hard to think about it. So sometimes it takes some going through your day and thinking, oh yeah, I do this, to them or for them. And we all have these untapped moments. All of us do. So it's which ones do we have the amount of time to slow down and engage our child in these things. All right, here's a little guy at the sink. I feel like, so going back to a slide we had before, the mindfulness means that you really know. In your mind, you're being mindful of what you're targeting. You're deliberately doing it in a way that your child's going to understand what that is, what it is you're targeting. You're taking your time, because like I said, sometimes it's going to take 30 extra seconds, maybe an extra minute to add this extra these extra pieces into these routines, but you're not adding whole other activities. You don't need to find another 2 hours in the day. You're sneaking them in because you're making these routines predictable so your child knows what to do, what to say, or what commands to follow. You can expand on your routines too. Like I said earlier, once you have these established routines, you can start doing things that mixes it up a little bit or adds a little variety. You can make things difficult for them. We call these communicative temptations, where you might put things out of reach or put things in containers they can't open. Omit the needed items so they have to ask where they are. Changing up the routine in a way where they have to problem solve. Well, what do I need to do now because things are different? And deliberate forgetfulness. Things like, all right, get in the bath. Well, the water's not there. So, oh, what did I forget? And you forgot the water, but they might either think it's silly, right, and laugh, or they might have to communicate with you or show you that they know how to turn the water on or whatever. So being able to make things difficult, omit needed items, change up a routine, and that deliberate forgetfulness just allows you to add a little bit of extra activities onto a known routine that you've already set for them. And all of these things, these extras that you do around the house that is your work, just remember, this could be their play. Anything from watering the plants, checking the mail, feeding the dog, sorting your utensils when you clean out the dishwasher, any sort of cleaning. You can make your own cleaning spray out of lemon juice and vinegar and water that's safe for kids, and they could spray the table or they could spray other surfaces, and you give them a cloth so they could do the cleaning. The kids love spray bottles. Kids love to play with water, so watering the plants, pouring the dog's food into the bowl. These are those untapped things that you feel that this is the work of the day. You have to get it done. You got to get it done. How could a child be engaged in these types of things that are meaningful in their lives?